Boot camp.
Business processes. Okay, board of directors. They provide the strategic direction in order to safeguard assets and maximize shareholder return. They have a fiduciary responsibility. Make sure that they are thinking and doing for the best interest of the organization. They should not take any type of business or opportunities for themselves that will hurt the organization. So therefore, they're thinking for the organization first before themselves. So the board of directors, they could remove officers, the day-to-day officers. They could vote on mergers and acquisitions. The majority of the members of the board should be independent of management. And they are indemnified for losses and damages. Now, there's an article of incorporation, which is basically saying that I like the ABC of corporate documents, right? So you have the articles of incorporation saying we are TAPA Institute, LLC. You have your bylaws, and then you have your code of conduct. That's really, and then within the bylaws, it kind of branches out and says what kind of committees that you will have. So the audit committee is one that we've already spoken about in the past. But there are the compensation committee, there's the finance committee, investment committees. They're different committees and they have different names, but more or less those are the general ones that are in existence for corporations. Now, I want you to take a read of this as I put myself on mute for a minute and tell me if you have any questions. Okay. Any questions?
Exactly what do they mean when they say that the CEO and the CFO are agents?
Well, they're agents of the organization, so they can make decisions for the organization. They could sign for and represent the organization in situations. That's why with Sarbanes-Oxley, they kind of tightened that relationship because they're like, oh, I didn't know, I wasn't aware. Well, Sarbanes-Oxley actually changed that. And Sarbanes-Oxley now requires that the CEO and CFO sign off saying that they are aware of the controls in place around financial reporting, so that so then that means they can't play ignorant. And so with Sarbanes-Oxley, it's now mandated, so public companies, they should have an audit committee. They have to appoint the audit committee, compensation, review their work. Again, we talked about that in depth when we did our audit boot camp. An independent audit will report directly to the audit committee. So there's no kind of like, I didn't know they were reporting to the controller. I'm not an accountant, that type of stuff. So that's what they mean by them being an agent, because now they are the face of the organization. So they can't hide behind things.
Got it.
Now, the audit committee members are board members and independent of management, and they resolve any type of dispute between the officers and the shareholders.
Mhm.
Okay, at least one member of the audit committee must be a financial expert. A financial expert in education, experience of internal controls, and knowledge of understanding GAAP. They do not have to be a CPA. They have to be able to have that education, experience with internal controls, and knowledge and understanding of GAAP. And they can't necessarily provide these type of services that's in bullet 2. SOX has really cleared up what you can and cannot do. Here it goes here with the clawback provision. The CEO and CFO must reimburse any bonuses if they found out that they got the bonuses based on some kind of fraudulent activity that they were a part of. And they go to jail. Up to 20 years. Audit documentation should be retained for 7, which we know, and they could go to jail for 20 years. So I like to say hindsight is 2020. Okay, 2020. That's the number of years maximum, up to. Again, this is that certification that I was talking about. They have to sign off saying, hey, I understand that these things, I understand the operations, I understand the maintenance of the internal control of financial reporting. Signature. If they failed, guess where they go? To jail. Maximum 20 years. Here, the 10% ownership test. Anytime there's some type of change in shareholder requirement, shareholder, not requirement, but ownership, then there should be some type of filing to the SEC.